The Kashmir Army commander has told NDTV that incidents of stone pelting are hindering the relief operations, but his men have orders to be calm and gentle. He spoke to Barkha Dutt.
It's now been 6 days since the floods ravaged the heart of Jammu and Kashmir. Where do the rescue and relief operations stand? Joining me now is the General Officer Commanding of the 15 Corps, Lieutenant General Saha. General Saha, let me start by asking you, we now know that rescue operations are reorienting themselves because many people do not want to be evacuated. Where do things stand? Are new areas getting impacted as well?
Yeah, firstly, what is happening is the water level, it is receding in Srinagar. It's down by about 6 to 8 feet. The effects of that are being felt in the Vular Lake, if you're aware. It's a huge lake which is receiving all this water, and in the last 24 hours, the water level there has gone up by 3 to 4. Cumulatively, it's gone up about 6 to 8 feet. So some, lessons have been learned and some preemptives have been done in the sense villages both south of Bandipur, that is north of the lake, and south of the lake from the area of Sumbal have been evacuated to safer areas.
So the new area around Vular Lake is also now getting impacted?
Exactly. These are new areas getting affected. And this other question which you started with regard, now obviously the orientation is shifting from rescue to relief.
Because people don't want to shift.
Exactly. They don't want to shift. As many that are coming out, there are perhaps more who want to go back home.
That's important to know. But let me also ask you, in the last 48 hours or so, we've seen a new variable. And that variable is that people are angry. Now, one can understand that people are angry and desperate. Look at the condition they've been in. But your men and the Air Force as well have come under stone pelting in now several incidents. So how are you responding to this?
See, 2 quick points here. First one, this anger or angst is actually being driven by a complex of anxieties in their mind, whether it's the food, whether it's the education of the child, their money and so on. That's why we have to be very understanding of this, and my sense is probably when you met my men on the ground, they would have given you the same feel that we are being absolutely understanding of this anger.
Is it impacting the operation?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question you ask. Well, it does hinder operations, and in that sense, in a sense, people are being denied their right to rescue and relief and delayed that process.
Chief Minister Omar Abdullah said that he called these the usual elements fishing in troubled waters. Your comment?
Well, quite clearly, in places like this, in conflict zones, individual expressions are very different from collective expressions, and that is because of a multiplicity of factors and players.
Do you believe that there's also, what makes this different from, let's say, if the flood had happened in another state, is there's also an existing ground situation where separatist elements in Kashmiri society have looked at the military with hostility? Do you believe that that is a factor in the public discourse around these floods?
Well, we do not get to see much of the public discourse in that sense because the local media is not quite yet up. So whatever we are seeing is through reports that we are getting from channels like yours and also from the ground.
But you know that there's anger on the ground.
From the ground, wherever this anger is being collectivized and being turned violent by stone pelting, quite evidently there would be forces at play.
Let me ask you a last question. While the army is at the heart of this rescue operation, there are certainly concerns that this is, what about the border? What about the LOC? We have seen infiltration and counter-infiltration attempts just in this last week. So there are concerns about the readiness of the army to do both.
Well, before I transition from flood relief to that domain, let me first thank your channel. And I wish to quote one incident. I think it was 2 or 3 nights before when Mr. Soos, Junius Mr. Soos had announced on your channel that if somebody is listening, I was watching it at about 1 a.m. in the morning, that there is a big white building near Milansan Girls High School. Thanks to your channel, we got to know of it. Next day, first thing at daybreak, we sent a lot of relief through helicopter and later by boat.
That's fantastic to know.
Yeah, now coming to your question, regarding that, let me tell you one thing, that we have put in a huge amount of effort here for this rescue and relief. That notwithstanding, the counter-infiltration and the counter-terrorist grid is as robust as it was. And I can establish that by the fact that on the night of, I think, 9/10, 3 terrorists were killed while trying to infiltrate from Sundarmali in Keren sector, bang on the fence. And the night previous, 1 foreign terrorist was killed in the Rajwad forest.
But would you like the state administration to take some more responsibility so the army can go back to what it was meant for, which is to protect our borders?
You see, on the first day when we started these review meetings of CM Saab, We are only 7 members, and this morning's, he has it twice in a day, this morning's meeting had more than 50 plus. That shows that the state administration and the machinery is certainly getting back on its feet.
General Saha, you have a tough job on your hand, and I know the country owes a debt of gratitude to all of you. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.